right, so we are up here in Seattle, Washington, and we are on the course here. This is a warm-up lap. Get these tires warmed up. And we're just running right now in 4th gear. About 67, 70 miles an hour through here. Taking a nice wide band around this particular corner. Brake, 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 brake. One thing about this car I've discovered already, even when you start taking these corners a little quicker, it's got a very neutral attitude. It doesn't feel front-wheel drive at all. And these brakes, you can really get on them a lot. And since we're still warming up, I haven't quite gotten into shifting just yet. But I will here soon, because even though this has a lot of torque, you know, you still can't just pull out of a corner in 4th gear. Now, rev matching. This has got automatic rev matching, which of course you can turn off if you don't want it. You can heel and toe manually, but this has a brilliantly executed rev matching program that works very well. All right, so here we're on the straight. 88, 97, 99, 115, and 120. That rev matching kicking in there. Kind of came into this corner a little bit on the hot side there, but the car is very forgiving. And I'm finding that at speed here, this thing really does a nice balanced job of steering with the throttle on-off inputs. It's very predictable. Now that we've got some grip here, you can really modulate how this thing behaves with the throttle. Got a little loose there, trying to brake without being in a complete straight line. One thing I have to be completely honest about is, while I'm pretty experienced at track days, I'm about 5 to 6 tenths. I'm not an expert by any stretch. All right. A little better attitude here in the right gear coming out of this one. So, one of the things that's come up in a lot of the test drives and a lot of the questions I'm getting from viewers is, what about torque steer? Well, guess what? There is absolutely no torque steer here. This has been very well done with the dual axis strut suspension, where you can lay on the throttle whether you're turning or straight, and there's very little, if any, torque steer, especially coming out of these corners under full throttle. You can still feel a little bit of squirming going on there. But overall, this is very well done when it comes to how this power is delivered. I don't feel any deficit here in terms of traction, because we're only front-wheel drive. It doesn't have the kind of understeer that you'd normally expect with a front-wheel drive car. In fact, it has a lot more balance than I would have ever expected. Now granted, when you throttle out of a corner, you don't get the rear tail happy sort of feel with a rear-wheel drive car that you'd have there. But I will say, even here on the highest level of damping, which is the Plus R drive mode, this feels a lot softer and more compliant than, say, a Ford Focus RS. So I think, you know, while this is making a very nice track day car out on the highway, which is where most people will live with it, it's going to be a lot more livable than, say, that Ford Focus RS. And so finishing up here with my little bit of a track escapade, I can say that I'm not really missing all-wheel drive a bit, and that's something that I thought I would in a car with this power level, being a front-wheel drive biased car that it is. I really believe that it would be at a deficit without all-wheel drive, and I'm just not finding that. I'm not wishing for it, let me just put it that way. It's every bit as fun, it's every bit as balanced and predictable as you'd want that all-wheel drive for. And this engine is just a high revving gem with all of the enhancements that they put into it. And this rev matching really makes you feel and sound like a pro at pretty much all times. So there's that for the track. Well, my friends, that was fun. So if you like the test drive you just saw, subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can do that by clicking on the big round logo right there, or see more here on the Civic Type R there, right there on the big square. By the way, stay tuned.